Today I'm going to show you how to quickly carve a whole turkey without any stress and no waste. All you need is a sharp knife. So let's go ahead and first we're going to snip our trussage. I made that up, obviously, that word, but just get, kind of whatever twine you use to tie your turkey legs. Get that off. First we're going to take off the legs, okay? And the thighs. So you're gonna go ahead and kind of cut right here where you can see it's already separating. You can see inside here and you're like, oh look, that's a turkey. And then you're just gonna you can follow what's the word I'm looking for? It's rib cage down. And then you're just gonna kind of go underneath, like how the thigh goes all the way down and underneath. You wanna make sure that you're you're just using your knife almost, just the point, essentially, to really kind of separate that. Now, if your turkey is properly cooked, which of course yours is, because obviously, then it's gonna fall apart, essentially. It's gonna tell you where to cut it. It's gonna be great. So we're gonna go ahead and do the other side before we slice off our leg. So we're gonna go do the same thing where we are essentially just kind of separating it. It's already separating naturally, but we are just kind of following where it takes us. Okay, and then there's a ball and socket joint back here, obviously. If you find it easier, you can just break that and pull the rest of it out. I do find it easier to kind of pull it, kind of like you do when you're breaking down a chicken, where you kind of essentially just bring its hips out. That just sounds so gross about it. So we're gonna move the rest of the carcass over here. And then you're gonna feel where that other ball and socket joint is. That's where the leg attaches. It's gonna make it easier to slice the drumstick off. So if you kind of find that spot, then it'll be easy to slice and you won't have to really cut through any bone or anything. So we're gonna repeat the same thing with the other side. I'm gonna flip this bad boy over, boop. Again, we're going to find where he is, and since it's perfectly cooked, it is literally just begging to be pulled apart. So there's our second thigh, or drumstick, second drumstick, and then here's our other thigh. So you can, of course, obviously, just pull this bone out. It is beautifully cooked, so it's going to pull out all on its own. And that is the magic, my friends, of properly cooking your turkey. So we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing with the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you. You can also just kind of cut around. I'm not cutting my hand. I'm just kind of basically picking the meat off of the bone as I go. And it's falling off because obviously it is beautifully cooked. And you can obviously slice this however you'd like. I generally just kind of pull that meat, so that people can kind of take as much or as little as they'd like. And then you can take that and arrange that in a dish or on a tray. Same with this one, just kind of pull it apart. It's still quite warm, so if you want to slice it, you can do that. Next, be careful because your hands are greasy now that you've been fondling the chicken. Maybe that wasn't the best word choice, but here we are. So same thing with the wings. You can kind of manhandle it and feel where the ball and socket is, and then slice right there. But just be careful because your hand is greasy and mine's slipping, and I don't want to have any sort of accident. So the easiest way to keep that from happening is to just kind of wipe the grease from your hands, wipe the grease from your now, if you want to just pull it out, you can. Okay, wing. I mean, honestly, turkey wings, they're giant. It is easier to cut through the kind of the gristly part rather than the actual bone. So, that part that's in the ball and socket. If you find that, then just slice. Now, the only thing I don't love about doing a turkey this way is that then you're left with the weeble wobbly kind of, rib cage. And so you just have to be careful. So keep your towel on hand. to make sure that you aren't going to hurt yourself. So find the breastbone, and then you're going to slice on one side of it. This is very much like breaking down a chicken before you cook it. It's much the same process. So, and you just want to make sure you slice through that beautiful crispy skin. Now this is going to be very warm, so, and I'm just kind of separating it from the rib cage down there as I go, which you can see, sort of, maybe, hopefully. And I'm just kind of gently, I'm using my knife, the tip of my knife, to kind of make sure I get all of that good, white, tender meat, like so. Boom, turkey breast. There's a few bits here, but honestly, that's the bone. We did it. Now, you're gonna have to decide if you find it easier to slice from here or if you wanna turn it around and slice from there. It's totally up to you, but you just wanna be very careful and very aware of where your hands are. So go ahead and, oof, it is warm in there. Go ahead and you can of course use a fork to hold it as well. I have no feeling left in my fingers, so it's fine. So we'll just go ahead and do the same thing. I am gonna turn her so that I can kind of pull, it's warm, pull this side away. I'm using my knife almost as a lever, like so, to kind of just, you know, boop, boop. And since it is beautifully cooked, it wants to pull away from the bone. It is not giving any resistance whatsoever, and that is a wonderful thing. Now you've got that bit of connective tissue, and then you've got all of this beautiful meat right here. So just slicing as you're going down. Boom. That's what's up. Now you've got yourself, well, this is some good meat right here. But so you can go ahead and kind of pick off what's left. Maybe wait until it cools a little bit, because like, she hot. But we've got ourselves a beautifully cleaned turkey. Now you can make a stock with this if you'd like. I generally like to use uncooked or roasted bones. I think they make a more flavorful stock, but this will definitely give you a nice rich stock. And now it's up to you. I'm gonna slice my breast so that you can kind of still see, you know, the beautiful kind of top here. So I'm gonna try and keep it intact. Obviously this is where a nice sharp knife comes in handy. If your knife is not sharp, it might not do this. But now it's all meat, and so you just want to be very careful that you aren't going to slice your finger, especially if things got slippery. Just wipe it off. Those are snackies, in case you're wondering what that pile is. All right, and you're gonna repeat. And then you can decide how you want to cut your wings. So, you know, they just, honestly, they just pull apart. So you can kind of, you've got, you know, the drumlet and then the wang. So, up to you. And that is how you cut a whole turkey. Yay! You obviously need a bigger plate than I do. Clearly, this is a large turkey. But you've got the rest of your pieces parts here, and you arrange those in your dish or your platter, and then you get to eating.